Yo, what's going on, everybody? I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome to Twitter and welcome to YouTube. Sorry, guys, who on Facebook, you've all been directed here because Facebook just isn't working at the moment now. But welcome to what is the Premier League team of the season. We are going to come to a consensus of what we feel are the best players in their position. And to be fair on everybody, no team can have more than 3 players.
You said 2, and I worked on 2.
Well, I think 2 is fair. I really do think it's 2. And you know what? Let's stay with 2 because 2 is fair. Otherwise, no one's going to get a chance to do anything.
I've literally spent the past hour rejigging my team.
Well, yeah, I think 2 is fair because look, guys, you're going to be surprised when I go through some of the ratings and the figures. And remember, the ratings it's an unbiased opinion. We've taken it from who scored, and they've done every single rating that the player has throughout the whole season and worked on an average. And when I show you, when we talk about each position, we're going to talk about the nominees so we can select who's going to be in our team. But we're also going to talk about which player, which we think are the best players, but which statistically is the best player who's had the highest average scores out of 10 throughout the whole season. So that's going to come into the mix. That's going to really throw a spanner into the works because it's going to make us think twice about which options that we're going to use. And having a maximum of 2 players from one team definitely gives credence to opening this thing up so that other players from other teams can be in the side as well, making it truly a Premiership 11 rather than, let's just take the best players from Man City and Liverpool and everybody goes home. Yeah, so I think it's better if we do it that way. But let's go around the clock first and see how you guys are. Tony, what is up, my friend? How are you doing?
I've been better, my friend. We're still smarting from the injury that we had suffered yesterday. So, it is what it is. I'm going to cry for a little while. I won't be happy until Monday evening, hopefully when Arsenal re-inject some life into our Champions League challenge.
Drew, how are you getting on outside? I mean, it's misery all over, isn't it? Tony Arsenal losing, Drew losing in the semi-final Champions League. I mean, we really do want to get on with it, don't we?
We say losing, but we kind of have won as well because we've only paid 51 million for Erling Haaland when we all thought it was actually going to be more than that. Yeah. And it just makes us all realise that Fred cost more than Erling Haaland.
It is, but I must say, I did say to Tony 3 weeks ago, my sources, the football agents told me that it was always 51 million cash on the release clause. And yeah, I think the rumor was started by, what's the guy? It's not John Cross. It was someone from the Daily Mirror. They talked about this 75 million and then 40 million agent fees and whatever. And it actually worked out 51 million and 21 million agent fees. So the whole deal is if you add everything up, it's just under 80 million, which is kind of crazy. My issue, and I have to say this, guys, I don't think teams should be accountable to pay agent fees. The player should pay the agent. I don't see why a team has to pay agent fees. I just think that they need to mediate this and put some new laws in to stop this silliness from happening and holding teams accountable for agent fees. What's your thoughts, Drew?
I think agent fees are an absolute toxic part of football, quite frankly. I think it's insane that
somehow doing it. They've got to make money.
They do have to make money somehow, but I think it should be accounted for by the player, like Apollo said, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in American sports, if you're an agent, you work for the player, and that is it.
Well, yeah, LeBron pays Rich Paul, which works out pretty well for everyone, really. Mm-hmm. So
mainly Adele.
Works out very well for Adele.
And how are you getting on, Simon, our Brentford fan? We wish that he would have had more time to spend with us throughout this season, but Simon's just had a baby, so it's been very difficult for him. And so he wanted to make sure that he was here to have his say in the team of the season and then give us an overall assessment of what he thinks of Brentford. So, Simon, how are you? How's baby? What do you think of Brentford's season? Are you happy where it is,
Sure.
and yeah, let us hear from you.
Thanks, Apollo. Our 7-month-old son is doing very well. I think it was my partner that actually gave birth to him or had him, so I've had the easy part since then. But that's going very well. And as a Brentford fan, I'm absolutely over the moon with how our first season in the Premier League has gone. You know, we're sitting pretty in 13th at the moment, and we with Everton and Leeds as our final 2 games of the season, we do have a chance of finishing in the top half of the table. So absolutely ecstatic at the at how our season has gone.
Excellent. Neil, Liverpool fan, the only one really outside of Drew sitting here with any upside. I mean, you there's a lot of trophies up for grabs as a Liverpool fan. Champions League, FA Cup. I mean, you're sitting pretty right now. How are you feeling?
It's looking good. The only thing that I kind of disagree with, everyone's talking about this quadruple, and to be honest, the quadruple part, that's in City's hands, and it's always been in City's hands. So why people say quadruple, it beggars to believe, because I can't see, and City have proved that they're not going to let it go just like that. Yeah. So to me, it's always about the treble, because that's within our control rather than the quadruple. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll do well tomorrow, and hopefully we'll do well in the Champions League as well. You know, but yeah, it's looking good. I mean, our luck kind of took a turn for the better when Diaz came in, and it's been up ever since.
Okay. So, guys, I just first of all, before we go into the reason why we're here, which is the Premiership team of the season, is there anybody that wants to say anything about the games which happened over the last week? I'm just opening up there because I'm about to just move on with this thing, man.
I think you're very lucky that Andy's not on.
Yeah.
Andy's missed his opportunity. Andy wanted to gloat.
I want to thank all the Brighton fans out there. Yeah, they gave me great pleasure over the last week.
Apollo, if we can extend it back to the last month, I have to throw in a mention for Brentford's magnificent 4-1 victory at Stamford Bridge. That's probably the result of our season.
Yeah, they've had quite a few good victories, actually. I mean, I just before we go into our stuff, because Simon's just missed so many weeks of Premier League talk. Which team have you been most impressed with, and which team have you been a little bit disappointed with? And who would you say is Brentford's player of the season?
In terms of which of the opposition have I been most impressed with? It's probably Liverpool, actually. So Liverpool came to the Brentford Community Stadium, and we played out a fantastic 3-3 draw. It was probably one of the games of the season as far as we were concerned. Whereas Man City came and they won. They beat us in both games, but they didn't really play with the swagger that you've seen across some of the seasons. So for me, Liverpool have been the most impressive team. So Neil, you must be smiling at that thought.
Yeah.
and which team have you been disappointed in this season in the Premier League?
Oh, in the Premier League, unquestionably Manchester United. They always flatter to deceive, don't they? You know, United should be punching much higher than they are.
Although I think our friend Ian couldn't make it today. Ian's, as you guys know, he's an actor and he's had some theatre contracts, which he just hasn't been able to get out of. Before the year, he had a lot of work around the Heathrow area. So unfortunately, he will try to sort of make some kind of podcast towards the end of the season where he can give his overall assessment. But we have missed him this season. But don't worry, he'll be back. So Cool K says, "Hey Simon, great season for you." Simon getting some love now. 18 says we missed Simon, and Hanumi says, "Apollo, do you have any inside info about the Amazon documentary?" Yes, I do, but I've signed NDAs, so unfortunately, I can't talk about I can't talk about a lot of things. And the things that I have been able to talk about, I have talked on the podcast and the streams about. But unfortunately, I've been told by the guys, but I can't really say anything. But all I'm saying is it will be ready in August. They've already started pre-production. They started actually post-production 3 months ago. So I can tell you that. So they are hard at work at editing this show, and it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be fantastic. I think they've done an amazing job. And big shout out to Piers and big shout out to Shan as well. I want to let you guys know that it's been a pleasure working with you guys, with the whole 101 community, and they love what the help that we've been doing with them, the work and the interviews and all of that stuff. They really have got on well with our guys. I had not a single complaint from Amazon Prime about what they were doing with Arsenal 101 this season. So well done to you guys there. Right, let's move on, guys. Let's start. We're going to go through every single position, and as I said, we're going to talk about the nominations. And if there's a problem with the nominations, then let's open up the talk. If you feel there's someone that should be in there, then that's fine. But this is going to be a consensus decision from us anyway. But as I said, I will also put in some wild cards in there, which were the players that were at the best rated in those positions throughout the season. So we're going to start with the goalkeeper. Now, the goalkeeper, before we look at the guys who have been put up as candidates, I do want to say, as I was writing this list, the one name I didn't put on there was Jose Sarr. Now, when I looked at this, it was quite shocking, really. He has the highest rating of goalkeeping marks out of 10 throughout the whole Premiership season. And look, it shouldn't be a surprise. Most of you already know Wolves have the second best defense in the Premier League, letting in the second least goals. So it's of no surprise that a few of their players are going to pop up on these lists. But I was just surprised that this guy was because I didn't have him on the list. I just had Ramsdale, Alisson, Mendy, and Ederson, and I was like, that's the four we're going to go with. But the fact that he's the second highest rated goalkeeper throughout the season was actually Aaron Ramsdale with a 6.8 out of 10 rating, and that's the second highest. But the 6.9 rating of Jose Sarr was number one, so that's why he's in this list. So I'm gonna go with, it's a tough one for me because I think Chelsea's been really bad, and I think Mendy's carried them. So for me, it was probably between Mendy and Ramsdale. And Ramsdale's been huge. The amount of points he saved Arsenal, they would have never been in fourth place if it wasn't for this guy. Alisson and Ederson, I think we can say that both of them are playing for the top two teams in the league. We already know that. But I think we have to work on the statistics at hand and look at the fact that Jose Sarr and Ramsdale have the most saves out of 200 saves. That's how they work out the save percentage, and for what they've done to their teams as well. So I think for me, I'm probably going to go with. Oh, this is a really tough one. I think I'm going to go with Ramsdale. I'm going to go with Ramsdale. The Arsenal connection is what swung me over from him to Mendy, but I'm going to go with Ramsdale. Tony, who's your pick of the bunch, and do you think that there's anyone else that should make this list?
Well, bearing in mind that no other Arsenal outfield player probably stands a chance of getting in the team, I'm probably going to have to go with Ramsdale.
That's it, yeah? Ramsdale for you. So that's 2 votes already. Drew?
Ever since we started talking about this a couple of weeks ago, I've stayed firm on Jose Sarr.
Wow, okay. I was close on him.
The thing is, I can't take Ederson, Alisson and Mendy seriously in the conversation. They play behind the 3 best on paper defences in the league.
Yeah.
So they've got half their job done for them when they walk out on the field. Mm-hmm. Overall, between Ramsdale and Sarr, though, I think Sarr plays behind a slightly less solid back line. When Ramsdale's got all of his defenders in front of him, your best back line is better than Wolves' best back line. So I think Sarr probably saves more points for Wolves than what Ramsdale has saved for Arsenal.
Yeah, because Arsenal was the 3rd best defence last season. Well, Ramsdale wasn't playing for them last season, but this season he's not had Tomiyasu. He's Kieran Tierney's again out for the season.
Yeah.
and they've just had to fill in. I know Rob Holding's been filling in for Ben White, so he hasn't really had these.
Can we not mention Rob Holding because I can't hold back?
Yeah, but the point is, Liverpool. Neil will know Liverpool last season without Van Dijk was a complete and utter travesty, and he's been fit this season, and it's been the big difference. It just goes to show you how important one player is to a defensive line. But Arsenal have had 2 or 3 players out in their back. I'll say the fact that Aaron Ramsdale at some point was struggling. But you can understand why. It's because these stallions, as Tony would say, weren't in front of him. So you're going for Jose Sarr, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 2 for Ramsdale, 1 for Jose Sarr. Simon.
So before I assess the names on the list, I'll throw in a one to watch for next season. So someone who's not on the list. And obviously I'm biased, so I'm coming at this from a Brentford perspective. But Brentford's goalkeeper, David Raya, is probably in our top 3 most important players, and he's probably in the top 2 who I think might be poached by a bigger club in the summer. He was fairly heavily linked with Arsenal as a backup choice last summer, and he made his debut for Spain in the last international window. So he was selected ahead of David De Gea at Man United. So I think David Raya is one to watch. In terms of the list we're looking at on screen, I think it's a fair comment that perhaps you rule out Alisson, Mendy, and Ederson in particular because of the strength of the teams that they're playing in. So for me, I'm going to go for Jose Sarr because he's the most surprising name on the list, and he's been incredibly consistent throughout the season.
Yeah, so that's 2 each. So Neil, without Bertram and Andy here, you get the deciding vote for our first player on the list.
It's kind of funny that because this week when you gave us the task to kind of look at it, and I limited my team to 2 players per team, the goalkeeper was one of the hardest because I looked at Sarr and I thought Sarr was a good way to go, but then my personal view is I chose Mendy. But listening to the conversation today, yes, Mendy, Alisson and Ederson have the best defences in front of them, hence the positions where they are. There is one keeper I'm going to mention who's not on the list, right? And it'll probably surprise everybody that I'm actually talking about this keeper, De Gea.
Yeah.
If De Gea has done so much for United. Yes, they have leaked out a bag of goals, but he's also done a lot of saves for them. They would be a lot, if they had another keeper in that position, they wouldn't be where they are now. They'll be a lot further down. He saved them so many times. Yeah.
So when I did look at him, I must admit, but when I looked at his average score throughout the year, it was 5.2.
Yeah, no, I get that, but
good.
then you got to look at the 4 in front of him.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are poor. They've been poor, and as I said, if any other keeper, they probably would have let in a lot more goals, and United would be a lot further down than they are now. De Gea has done a lot for them, but yes, compared to the top keepers and so he hasn't done.
Isn't that shocking when you realise they paid 50 million for Wan-Bissaka, they paid 80 million for Maguire, 40 million for Varane. How are we calling them poor?
Well,
it's really weird, isn't
it? Which one of them have played really well this season?
But they finished second in the Premier League last year.
Yeah,
the thing
we're
is,
talking about this season. We're talking about this season.
We are. But I'm just saying that. That they're not a bad defense.
I don't think, other than Harry Maguire, they are bad defenders. Harry Maguire is shite. I'm just going to be very honest. Maguire has always been a bad defender. Yeah. But Varane, he is a world-class defender. He hasn't been on the field enough, quite frankly.
No, he hasn't been.
Wan-Bissaka, I think, has the potential to be a very good defensive fullback, but I think he's poorly coached. I'm not going to blame Ranić for it, but a succession of poor seasons. Ollie didn't know what to do with his fullbacks, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Jose didn't know what to do with fullbacks either. He alienated Luke Shaw, who turned out to actually not be terrible when he's feeling comfortable and confident for England. For United, he's still terrible, though. But it's a whole culture thing at United, though. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes there, but they've turned top quality players into absolute mincemeat, quite frankly.
I think it's the worst caretaking management appointment I've ever seen in Premiership history. I mean, you took Ollie out for this. I mean, it's a cool case of just Tellez. Tellez is just he's been killing Man United's defense. He really has. So
right,
Neil, you get the deciding factor.
The deciding factor, especially listening to the arguments today, the for's and against. I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to go for Sarr because I agree he's been phenomenal this season. He has.
Excellent.
And when you look at Wolves, seriously, I mean, yeah, they were. We always kind of consider them that they can be one of the shocks of the season where they finish up, and no surprising. I'm not surprised, but yeah. Jose Sarr, definitely.
Excellent. So I'm happy with how that's worked out. Now we move to right back. This is where things get a little bit more tricky. Now, the right back, this is where things it's not going to be pretty from here on out, guys. The goalkeeper was the easy part. It's not going to get easy from here on out. So we've got Tomiyasu, who actually has led the Premiership in duels and interceptions per game. We've got Matty Cash, who is actually the highest rated right back in the Premier League this season with an average of 6.92. So Matty Cash has got to be up there. We've got Kyle Walker and we've got Rhys James and Alexander Arnold, which I'm going to go with Alexander Arnold on this. It's just the assists. This guy's just a magician. His ball placement is superb in the final third. He's cross delivery. We talk about the ability to deliver a cross. And I know because in an Arsenal's team, out of all of our defenders, our best crosser of the ball in terms of win back is Cedric Soares. But he's a subpar defender. He's an average defender. But when you look at this guy, he defends. He's not the greatest defender, but he defends. He backtracks. He checks out. But up front, he's just the standard. And it scares me because we're going to be naming a pretty attacking team, man. There's going to be no defending in this team that we're going to be announcing. But he's going to be my choice. Tony.
It was a very close battle between Rhys James and Alexander Arnold. And again, I have to look and think I can only have two players from any team. So in thinking, if I take Rhys James, who do I leave out of the Chelsea team? If I take Trent, who do I leave out of the Liverpool team? So based on that, I'm going with Rhys James.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, because that's actually a good question because then, and I might be giving some things away here, but I think I'm just stating the obvious. So if you look at Liverpool, if you look at Trent Alexander, that will mean that in the midfield, you won't have Fabinho. That would mean that Mane, Salah. I mean, there's quite a few players from Liverpool. We're talking about Van Dijk as well. So you have to pick and choose your battles. And I think it was fair to choose a maximum of 2 per team. I think if we'd have done 3, then we might be taking the piss a little bit. So that's a very intelligent choice there. Rhys James. And again, an outstanding player. Rhys James, really, really good talent. Before we go to Drew, let's say hello to Bergkamp. I called him Bergkamp last night. Sorry, I don't know if it's just the greatness, but Bertram, sorry about that.
I am Stan Kroenke. I'm not Bergkamp.
I know that's how I learn the names, and it messes me up a little bit. Bertram, how are you doing? First of all,
it's Friday. Got to be doing well on a Friday. The weekend is coming up. Looking forward to it. So I'm doing well. Yeah,
don't say you got to be doing well. It's Friday the 13th. It's Friday the 13th.
That's for those who are conspiracy theorists and people who are have challenges, I call it.
Right. So you haven't missed much. You've only missed the goalkeeper, and then it was Jose Sarr from Wolves who got the vote over Aaron Ramsey for that. So he is our goalkeeper in our Premiership 11. Also, Bertrand, what we're doing is we're talking about our candidates and nominations here, but we also have a wild card in those nominations. You'll notice that one of the players there might not be mainstream, but we've taken the stats from who scored. who has been the highest rated marks out of 10 player in that position for the whole season. So for goalkeeper, it was Jose Sarr, but he deservedly won that spot. This time it's Matty Cash. He was the highest rated right back. Strange, because when you look at the best player, the rating shows you a level of consistency. In other words, this guy never dropped his levels. And that is a very hard thing to do over 38 games.
So you have a Polish international in your squad?
Yep, that's right. And there's even more to come. You won't believe the names that we're going to throw up here. So we're talking about right back, and we have one vote for Trent Alexander. We have one vote for Rhys James. Drew, you got the conch.
I absolutely hate this position right now. Like, genuinely, other than Matty Cash, I could pick any of the other four to be the starting right back of the season. Alexander-Arnold, he's the best going forward. Kyle Walker is an absolute beast when it comes to his ability to defend on recovery, but is he as good a defender all round as Rhys James? And Tomiyasu has been absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I would pick Alexander-Arnold though, because I like exciting games and I like goals. So I'd have to pick Alexander-Arnold. It'd go against my philosophy of football to pick any of the other defenders.
Okay, that's so we've got 2 for Alexander-Arnold, 1 for Rhys James. Simon, who's your right back?
It's a pretty impressive short list. Matty Cash deserves a mention. It's only his second season in the Premier League after stepping up from the Championship, and to be in such esteemed company, I think, deserves recognition. And as you said, Dean, it's all about his consistency across the season, and especially when he's played for a team under 2 different managers this year. But if we want to have a gung-ho, attacking, flash, high-scoring football team, it's really hard to look beyond Trent Alexander-Arnold. He gets my selection.
Yeah, I mean, just the sheer amount of assists that this guy has, and it's not just this year. He's been consistent with it. He really has been consistent. He's turning these levels out season after season after season, and one must have to ask the question of how much goals would that front three get if this guy wasn't helping to provide such a service? And believe me, I'm an Arsenal fan. I know what it's like to have a left back or a right back who's just running the channels and then doesn't give you that final ball. It's frustrating, but this is a guy who knows how to find these players, and that's what's really important. So we got 3 for Trent Alexander and 1 for Rhys James. Neil.
Well, for me, this was a no-brainer, and it's for obvious reasons. I'm going for Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I looked across the Liverpool team originally, and I kind of thought, who do I, leave out? Because I had a reason to pick every player in that team, and it's very similar with City as well. So, because you limited us to 2 players, I just had to kind of say, okay, which are the 2 that I like in the way they play their style of football? And yeah, going from the back, yes, we all know that even though Alexander-Arnold can defend, he's not the greatest defender when it comes to actually defending. But going forward, picking players out, Liverpool have this gap where none of their midfielders, Thiago's questionable, but none of the midfielders can do what Alexander can do from the set pieces. Yeah, so that's why I'm going for Alexander-Arnold.
And guys, we're playing dangerous ground here because if Van Dijk gets in, then there's no space for Salah, and Salah's the best player in the Premiership. So we need to tread ground very carefully, gentlemen.
That's why I picked Rhys James.
Yeah, I'm just warning you now. Yeah? Don't let us get to the front 3 and the right wing come up, and Salah, who is the best player in the league, don't get on this list. Yeah,
I'm almost tempted now just to pick Van Dijk at centre back.
And just so that Mahrez can get in there. Bertram, who's your choice for right back?
So I don't think it's close, actually. I like all the right back. Tomiyasu has been too injured to really show his true qualities throughout the season. Matty Cash has done well and should be applauded, especially given where he's coming from. Kyle Walker is probably the best defender of the lot, and Walker showed his ability and also his importance to Man City when he got injured. against Real Madrid, and they fell down. Alexander-Arnold is a brilliant going forward, but can't defend himself. He has contributed 14 goals this season, 2 goals, 12 assists. Rhys James is clear to me the best right back. 5 goals, 7 assists, 24 games. Alexander-Arnold total are in 31 games. And he's a much better defender than Alexander-Arnold. It's not close. And if you watch him on the right, when he played us, when he played some other teams, because I watch all these games, he's brilliant. He's as brilliant. He's not as brilliant as Alexander-Arnold in terms of his crossing, but he's just as brilliant going forward as far as I'm concerned. Powerful, strong, somewhat injury-prone. I don't think it's close, actually. If you think about the totality of the footballer, because we're giving a lot of kudos to Alexander-Arnold's offense, but there's some games where he's lost defensively. Luckily, he has Matip and Fabinho and Van Dijk behind him. I see he'd be showing up even much more than he's showing up previously. So clearly, it's Rhys James to me.
So we have 2 for Rhys James, 3 for Arnold, and then we have 1. So it's Alexander-Arnold is our right back, guys. So that lets us, this is going to freak you guys out. We actually have a player from a relegated team here. Can anybody guess who it is at left back?
Before we go to left back, don't you guys think 5 goals in 24 games for a right back is impressive?
It is.
It's better than Lacazette. It's better than Lacazette. Lacazette has 4 goals in 20-some games.
Oh, listen, Gabriel, our centre back has 4 goals. That got to tell you everything you need to know about it. So nobody can guess who this player is at left back who's been relegated. Okay, so let's move on to left back. All right, I'll give you 3 seconds. 2, 1. Okay.
I don't know the Norwich players, nor do I know the Watford players. So
okay, here's our list for left back. The player Liam Cooper, and look, he's been injured quite a lot.
What do you mean relegated? Doesn't Cooper play for Leeds?
Yeah, he plays.
But Leeds is not mathematically relegated. They're still in it.
They're still in it, but I'm saying that I think they're going to get relegated anyway. Yeah, but they're in the relegation zone. Okay. So Liam Cooper, guys, has been involved in all of their clean sheets. He is the top-rated average left back player with a rating of 6.97 out of 10. That again is consistency. But I have to talk about Tarek Mitchell. This guy has had over 200 league recoveries and a tackle success rate of over 50%. He's the only defender who has a tackle success rate of over 50%. And but again, I want to talk about Robinson. He's got 10 assists, which is the second league highest behind Trent Alexander. So there's and then obviously Cancelo, who Cancelo's got to be my pick. He's just brilliant. As a left back, I look at this list here, and I don't think there's anybody that can top Cancelo. I just think he's just walking this. So I'm going to go with Cancelo. Tony.
Yeah.
Who's your left back?
Yeah, I'll join you on that one.
So we've got 2 for
easily the best left back, and you know, it's a difficult one because you got to pick 2 Man City players, and if you're going to restrict yourself to just 2, I'd have to say he's going to be one of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought. It's going to be difficult. You're not going to like this, Drew. We can't get more than 2 in there. Drew, who's your man?
This was the easiest decision, was the left back. It's got to be Cancelo. He's not only the best left back in the Premiership, he's amongst the top 3 right backs in the Premiership. He's also amongst the top 5 holding midfielders in the Premiership. I mean, I don't think the bloke's human, quite frankly, when I watch him play sometimes. He can literally do everything. He doesn't get as many assists as Trent Alexander. He doesn't do as much going forward as Robertson either. But he does a bit of everything. He's just a complete defender.
Don't you have 2 better players, Drew? I was thinking of 2 in your team. I wouldn't put Cancelo as the one. I'm telling you.
I could have put Ruben Dias in as a centre back, but I don't think Ruben Dias has been fit for long enough this season, and he's also been inconsistent.
I'm not thinking Diaz either.
Or if you say Mahrez, Bertram, this
not
is
thinking
over.
Mahrez. Not thinking Mahrez. You have a lot of players, Drew. You have a lot of players, Drew. You have a lot of players.
Obviously, there's KDB.
KDB is one, of course.
Jesus.
No.
No, you've got to love Jesus because next season you're gonna have to suffer him.
What about Silva? I think he's ridiculously good. I think he's. What are you shaking your head, Tony? He's never pressured.
I'm shaking my head because my favorite City player, you haven't even mentioned him.
They have a ton of players. Apollo.
Rodri.
A ton of players.
Rodri.
Rodri is good, but I think Silva is ridiculously good.
Silva at the moment, for the past 3 months, has been the most important player in the City team. But there's other players in the Premiership that can do what Silva does.
He runs all game. He's never tired. He never loses the ball. He can make a pass. He can score a goal. What else can he do?
I thought you was talking about Al Nene there until you said he can score a goal. Oh God!
All right.
So we've got 3 for Cancelo. Simon, who's your left back?
Well, if you're looking at this list, it's clearly between Cancelo and Robertson, but obviously we're saving a space for another Liverpool player somewhere down the line. So it's an easy vote for Cancelo, but with an honourable mention to Tyreek Mitchell in terms of the advances he's made this season and the development he's made. So again, with my Brentford hat on, so Mitchell was actually in Brentford's academy, and he was released a few years ago, and he was picked up by Palace, and he's just been voted Palace's player of the season. And he's also made his debut for England this season, hasn't he? He came on as a sub in one of the games earlier a couple of months ago. So I think in terms of progress made, Tyreek Mitchell is worth a mention. But in terms of your overall choice as left back, it's very hard to look past Cancelo.
Yeah, it's good. I told you guys it's going to get very hard from here on out, man. But what I've noticed, which I didn't think I was going to look at today, was that you guys are playing Texas Hold'em, man. You guys got your poker faces on because we're trying to limit we're trying to do damage limitations because when we get up to the front 3, all hell's gonna. If we don't have no Liverpool players, no Man City players, because we used up all our Joker cards, there's gonna be trouble. I heard Bertrand talking about Mahrez, and his best player is in that list. So I want to see how much of a Mahrez fan he is when I pull up the attacking right wing.
Mahrez is not on the list. He's not on the list. We have too much players.
Oh God! Right. So, Neil.
Well, it's a no-brainer, really. As much as I love Robertson for obvious reasons, I've got a space saved for someone else in the Liverpool team.
It's Thiago, isn't it?
Oh my God!
No comment. So for me, my team, I stuck to the rules by keeping 2 players. And yeah, the player that I picked for my left back is Cancelo, and I'm going to stick with that.
Bertrand?
So I believe Robertson is a better left back than Alexander-Arnold is a right back. He has 2 goals and 10 assists in less games, and he can defend. I hate nowadays when we talk about defenders. They're talking about defenders' whole job is to attack, but he has 10 assists and 2 goals.
Yeah, but they're also classed as wingers, though, aren't they?
Huh? Go ahead.
They're classed as wingers. With Liverpool, they class them. Yes, they are in the defensive position, but they're also classed as wingers.
But you're not playing 3 at the back, so they're traditional left and right backs. Even though you allow them to go forward, you don't play 3 at the back. They're clearly wing backs, so they're playing in a back 4.
Yeah,
they can go forward more because you dominate the ball, so they're allowed to go forward more. But his stats are as good as Alexander-Arnold, and he can defend.
Yeah.
Arnold can't defend. I'm going to pick Robertson because I need to have Silva in my
Right. So, guys, this is.
By the way, Cancelo is brilliant.
Yeah, because when I look at our team, we've got a very attacking team. So, we're setting up like the Brooklyn Nets right now, where we're just scoring. We're out there to score, man. We ain't trying to play no damn defense in this place. This is what it looks like at the moment. We got Jose Sarr in goal. We've got Trent Alexander, and we've got Cancelo as the left back and right back. Now we're looking for 2 centre backs. So let's move on to centre backs. So we're looking for 2 guys here. Now, the wild card is James Tarkowski from Burnley, who's actually set to become a free agent.
Can I just say something there? We've got Tarkowski on there, and Tarkowski has actually done really well this season. But he's done well because he's been in such a bad team. to look good in that Burnley team, all you've got to do is show up and not be completely abject.
Exactly.
But remember, Drew, we're talking about your average player rating over a whole season. Yeah, he has got a 6.9.
And this comes down to my whole issue with statistics now. Statistics are misleading.
He has to block a lot of balls because a lot of balls come in that box. So
a lot of them just bounce off his ass or face, though.
So, Drew, remember, when we talk about player ratings in one match, we can say, yeah, it's not realistic. But when you talk about winning the Premier League over 38 games, having a player rating over 38 games, that actually means something. That average means a lot. And that's why these guys are in here as wild card. He ain't the only wild card. We got Pinnock as well, 6.97. Yeah?
I think we're missing the biggest wild card that a lot that recently made an England debut from Palace.
Who's that?
Guay.
Oh, yeah. But, I mean, when I checked his rating, he wasn't down there. These are the big 2 ballers right now. And statistically, the best 2 performing is Tarkowski and
Pinnock.
And Pinnock, yeah.
Pinnock has some injuries, but he's a Jamaica international, so I know a lot about Pinnock.
So I'm going to go with... sorry, I'm going to go with Van Dijk. Sorry, guys. I'm going to go with Van Dijk. I know I'm going to miss. I'm going to... Because, but you know what? No, I'm not. Sorry, I'm not, because I need Salah. I need Salah up there. So I'm not doing it. I'm playing that game. Texas Hold'em.
Now you wish you put Mark Gray in there, don't you?
I don't have a good poker face, Bertram. I don't have a good poker face. All right, sorry guys. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Rudiger. Rudiger's my choice. Tony, you got the conch.
Do you not have to name 2?
Yeah. For me, it would be Pinnock and Rudiger.
Pinnock and Rudiger. Okay, so state the bleeding obvious, Van Dijk would have to be a waltz in this team.
No Salah.
So yeah, but that is why I chose Rhys James, because I knew I wasn't. There's no way I'm leaving out Van Dijk, because he is easily head and shoulders above any of the rest of those centre backs.
Hey, look at Neil. Neil is sweating. Look, he's sweating, man.
I'm not going to get my way, because I know everyone else is going to run that. But backup would have to be Rudiger. Those are 2 world-class centre halves.
Drew's not enjoying this at all. Drew came into this thinking, I got my list, it's all ready, I'm going to dance this whole damn thing.
Well, no, literally, we've done the list. And as soon as you said 2 players, I went, that's it, I'm having Guay in my team, straight off.
Oh, who's your 2 centre-backs?
Well, to be honest, obviously, we know one of them is going to be Rudiger, but then I'm left with a choice between Tarkowski and Pinnock. I'm going to go Pinnock because he's not going to get relegated. So by default, he can't actually be. I've watched Tarkowski for a few years, and I've never understood why people have said he's a £40 million defender, because he isn't. He's positionally abject. He's terrible on the ball.
I believe what you just said.
Maybe he should go to Man United this summer. They need defenders.
He's an upgrade on Harry Maguire. I'll give him that.
And he's available for free. So Pinnock's got 2. Sorry, Tony, who was your 2 again?
Van Dijk and Rudiger.
Right. So we've got how many for Rudiger? We've got 3 for Rudiger then, right?
Yeah.
And 2 for Pinnock.
2 for Pinnock. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Simon.
Criminal.
So I don't think Van Dijk has been outstanding this season. He's been good. He's been solid. He's been reliable, but he's not been head and shoulders above everyone else like he was.
I know it's late in London. I know it's late in London, but it's not a good thing to drink and come on this program. I know it's late.
No, let me rephrase it. I think I take Van Dijk for granted. I think I take him for granted, but given we have one Liverpool player in the team already, I'm going to put him to one side. And for me, I am biased, so it's Ethan Pinnock for a couple of reasons. Pinnock's first season in the Premier League, the stats show that he's been incredibly consistent. In 2016, he was playing for Dulwich Hamlet. So it shows you that, how much he has progressed as a footballer. And he has been Brentford's most consistent and best player across the course of the whole season. So Pinnock for me, and I think Rudiger was exceptional for Chelsea across the first sort of 5 or 6 months of the season. It feels like he's dipped a little bit in the last couple of months, as has the whole Chelsea team. But again, for me, Rudiger was right up there in terms of performances this season specifically.
Excellent. So we've got 3 for Rudiger. So 4 for Rudiger and 3 for Pinnock. Really, really down to you two guys now. Neil, who's your centre backs?
Right. Okay. So when I was going through my team, I couldn't find. Well, there was loads of centre backs I could have chosen, but I actually was looking at Gabriel.
Yeah. He just missed this list.
Yeah,
he just missed it.
So I was looking at him, so I chose him obviously because of the other players that I picked within my team, right? So Rudiger, it was hands down because I couldn't go for VVD because I want somebody more up front in this team. Yeah. So yeah, it's got to be Rudiger's got to be hands down. If we're talking about the names that we've got in front of us rather than Gabriel, then I've got to go for Pinnock. I mean, I mean, Brentford, seriously, this season they have impressed me.
Yeah, me too.
And they've got stronger and stronger. So for me, I mean, after their first few games, the first thing I thought is this team is not going straight back down. Yeah. So
I must say, Neil, there was a point just before Christmas where I thought, oh no, here we go, and I haven't heard from Simon either, and that's not a good sign. And then somewhere around end of February, I was like, what are these guys on, man?
Yeah, but the thing is, you got to look at, right? Normally the teams that come up are normally the favourites for going down. Yeah. And out of the teams that came up, they weren't a team that I thought would go straight back down, especially after their first few games. Right? Yes, they're going to hit a blip because they're in the Premiership. The Premiership is not the easiest place to play when you've come from the Championship, and you're going to throw away a lot of points. But you know what? They've turned it around. They lost quite a few games, and then they've turned it around. And for me, they're one of the teams that's really impressed me, this season. And but next season's going to be the test because normally these teams that kind of stay up for a season, the second season is the real test of whether they've still got the character to stay or whether they go back down. So we'll have to see what happens next season. But I've got to go for Pinnock. So Rudiger and Pinnock.
So wow, 5 for Rudiger and 4 for Pinnock. I think that's pretty much it. Bertram, who would you go for?
So if I'm picking a World 11, Van Dijk is 2 or 3 on my list to start out with. Van Dijk is ridiculously good. Van Dijk doesn't get beaten one-on-one. In fact, when it's one-on-one, I'm smiling thinking the forward, no matter who they are, is going to lose that ball. So Van Dijk has to be on the list, and I'll take Rudiger. Frankly, Pinnock is interesting because when he played his first 2 games for Jamaica, they want to send him back home. They didn't think he was good enough. He's redeemed himself somewhat. But no, I think I'll say Rudiger and Van Dijk. I'm uncomfortable because Tony and I are aligned, and that's not a good thing.
So for all of you guys who missed our stream last night against Spurs, it was very heated, very emotional. Look, I love my boys like brothers, man. Me and Tony go back 40 odd years. So me and Neil, we all went to the same school. but we were really we were on fire last night. We were holding it down, man. And you know, it's good when you can disagree with your brothers and sit around the table and still, you know, shake your hands, hug, and say you love your brother at the end of the discussion. And that's what it was last night. You know, we were at odds with what was going on, but that just shows how passionate we are about our club. Yeah. So who are you going to go with, Bertram?
Rudiger and Van Dijk. I know we have to have more Liverpool players, but Van Dijk has to be in the 11.
Can I just ask one question? Actually, are we setting this to a rigid 4-3-3 or a 4-4-2?
It's a 4-3-3. Actually, it's a 4-2-3. So it's a 4-2-1-3 because I've got there's two defensive midfielders now, and then we're going to have a creative player, and then we're going to have the front three.
Well, it's 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1, I guess you're saying, of course.
Yeah.
4-2-3-1.
So my team was a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
So I went for a 4-3-3, but now I want a 4-4-2. I could drop one of my forwards then.
There's our team at the moment, guys. There's our team. Still no Arsenal player in there. So here we go.
I mentioned an Arsenal player. I mentioned Gabriel.
Yeah. So guys,
highly mentioned.
So guys, we're moving
100%
on.
mentioned.
We're moving on. Remember, this is a very attacking team, so this is probably our most important positions in the entire team. Now, there is no wild card in there. This is the first position that we don't have a wild card. Do you know why? Because the highest rated defensive midfielder in the Premier League is Declan Rice. He is with the highest scores. The highest score before this was 6.97, which was Liam Cooper. Declan Rice is 7.09. That is ridiculous. 7.09 average marks out of 10 over a whole season. This guy, and he just rejected an 83 million deal from West Ham, which was going to pay him 200 grand a week over 8 years. First of all, you'd be stupid to sign an 8-year contract if you're a sportsman with any team, even though it probably would set you up for life. So what do I know? If he goes out and gets injured next season, his career's over, he can recoup all of that money, but that's for a different conversation.
What is Rodri's average rating? I've never seen Rodri below a 7 in any game.
Yeah, I was just about to come on to that. The second highest rated midfielder in the Premier League, games played,
Never.
It's Thomas Partey, 7.08.
Well, they were playing games there, hasn't it? Season, so they only start from December.
Yeah, the third is Basuma with 7.03, and then the fourth is Christian Nørgaard, an average of 6.99, and then Jorginho for Chelsea at 6.98. So this is a difficult one for me. We're looking for two, guys. We're looking for two. I'm gonna actually go with the two best rated in terms of their grades. I'm going with Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. Tony.
Okay, so Declan Rice for sure. I think he's having a blinding season for West Ham. Although I do feel now at this very late juncture that his legs are gone. I think he's played so much football. He literally plays 90 minutes in every game. And I noticed in the European fixture in the week last week that I just think he'd come to the end of his run of great form. But yeah, based on the rest of the year, Declan Rice without a doubt. Shame about Kante because he's not. He is normally a shoo-in, but this year has just not been the same. So my choice will be. I understand your frustration with him not playing enough games, Bertram, but I'm picking Thomas Partey.
So Partey gets 2, Declan Rice gets 2.
He wasn't in my original team because I had Ramsdale in my original team, but he got out. He didn't get made goalkeeper. So
Yeah, it was close for me because for me it was I was looking for Rodri. Rodri, as I said to you, is my favorite City player. I really, really love Rodri, man. I think he's the most underrated player probably in the Premier League. But Thomas Partey, man, I've seen Thomas Partey do stuff that I ain't seen any midfielder do, any midfielder. And Tony, you know, because you've been with me plenty of games this season. I've seen him in a single pivot, by the way. You know, it's funny. You know how good Partey is that Xhaka and El Nene combined struggle to get to this guy's elite level. He's such an elite player. And I think, especially in the latter part of the season where, you know, one can say he might have been average previously before Christmas, but the performances that he was our player of the month in February and March before he got injured. And he was just single-handedly dominating teams.
I'll just say this. It's not my time when I say this.
I know. That's why I was going to move on to Drew.
Guys, this is for the whole season. And anyone who spent as much time in the NHS as to go to my football field cannot be on my team.
He can't, but I tell you, from the grades over the season and the games he's played, he's averaged 7.08, which is the second highest in the league.
That's because he gets a bunch of 9s and a bunch of 6s. He wasn't. Yeah. Look, I love Partey. I think he's a brilliant footballer, especially when he starts playing very fluid. But he's been inconsistent this season, and we have talked about this.
We have, but the marks are what the marks are. Drew, who's your two holding midfielders?
Right, first of all, this is really cocking up my I'm only going to play to score goals like thing now. Like, what's this about? I mean, who wants players like Fabinho in their team? Seriously, I love Rodri, but no. To be fair, out of those players though, I massively rate Partey, but he hasn't played enough games for me. And played enough games where he's dominated and taken over a game for me in an Arsenal shirt. Yeah, you can see that he's got everything that he needs to be one of the best players in the centre of the midfield.
Destroyed Man United.
Yeah, destroyed a lot of teams.
To be honest, though, if I went out against United, I reckon I'd have a pretty good shout right about now. And I use a walking stick, so.
Yeah, so he's played 25 games. He's played 25 games.
Right. Rice is a shoo-in. Rice has to be in there. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal. I can see why teams are talking about massive fees for him. And the other player who I think just gets on with his business very quietly is Neves. I think he's absolutely... He makes Wolves tick over.
Good shout. Second best defence in the league. Good shout. Good shout. So we have 1 for Neves, 2 for Partey, and we have 3 for Rice. Simon.
I think this is one of the stronger shortlists you've put up so far, although things are going to get harder as we move towards the forward line. But in terms of this list, for me, it's my number one. Well, no, for me, Rice and Rodri have been both standout players this season. I think Rodri is incredibly important to City and the success they've had. But with my Brentford hat on yet again, I'll give a mention to Norgard. He's probably the most important player in terms of how Brentford play, and he's head and shoulders above anyone else in the Premier League in terms of tackles made. So I was just looking up the stats. He's made 106 tackles this season, which is 10 ahead of the next player. So in terms of a defensive or holding midfielder, Norgard is he will get one of my votes, one of my sentimental votes. In terms of the other one, for me, Rodri just shades it over Declan Rice.
So we've got 1 for Rodri, 1 for Norgard, 1 for Neves, 2 for Partey, and it's still 3 for
Rice.
Is it 3? Yeah, for Rice.
Yeah, 3 for Rice.
Does anyone else think we're not actually going to get a clear choice in this category apart from Rice, maybe?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, but you know, Simon's done his work, and you know he hasn't gone for Rice, and you know that it is what it is, isn't it? We've all got to add something to it, but Norgard was the 4th ratest. He's that good.
If not for the fact that I need to put Jesus in my team when we get to the strikers, I probably would have gone for Rodri.
That's true. That's true. The
question: where is Xhaka?
Wow.
I think he's still chasing shadows, Bertram.
Yeah, Bertram going to get let down on that one. Neil, who's your two in the midfield?
This is a difficult one for me, and the reason why I said it because my team, my personal team, I've gone for 3 across the midfield. Yeah, and my centre midfielder is KDB.
He's coming up next when we get the guy who's playing in front of them, the creator.
Yeah. So this lot has just screwed up my team totally. So these are going to be fresh picks for the two that I'm going to choose now, because obviously I'm not going to choose KDB. This season, the 2 players I've been mostly impressed with out of those names there has got to be Rice and Rodri.
Wow, so that's 2 picks for Rodri. That is dangerous. So we've got Rodri on 2, Partey on 2. Rice is a clear winner. I've filled him in.
The reason why I didn't choose Fabinho is because he's brilliant, and he's brilliant. It's the 2 players I'm sticking with in my original team, and one of them obviously is Alexander-Arnold, and the other one hasn't come up yet, so that's why I've left Fabinho out.
So we're in danger. If Bertram chooses Rodri, we are in danger of our next position, which is the number 10, the creator, of not having Kevin De Bruyne.
No, that's crazy.
Bertram, you're up next.
So I don't understand, when we pick our right and left back, we pick mainly offensive players. And then if you're going to go offense, just go offense. So where James was Prowse, who has like 9 goals and 5 assists this season.
Yeah, he just missed the list as well. His
stats are better than Trent Alexander-Arnold. And he's playing deep. But that's another story. 9 goals and 5 assists is phenomenal for a midfielder, frankly, who's not playing in a 10. I would say, I make it simple, Rice and Neves. I think Neves has about 4 goals and a few assists. I think Neves is wanted by a lot of teams, including us. I think he's a very complete midfielder. Can pass the ball, brilliant free kick taker, good passer, especially long ball. So all the other players are very, very good. I love Partey, by the way, but he's been inconsistent this season.
Oh, so this is perfect because, guys, for the first time today, we find ourselves at a stalemate. We have Rice on 5, a clear choice.
And Andy's just joined.
Yeah, and Andy's going to get the deciding vote, and he can really throw a spanner into the works. We have Neves on 2, Rodri on 2, and Thomas Partey on 2. So Andy's going to get the deciding vote here because we're at a lock. Andy, who are your 2 choices for central midfielders in the Premier League? Now, the rules, as you know, is no team can have more than 2 players. If
you said 3 earlier.
No, I misprinted because last week I said 2 and today I just typed it in as a mistake. So if you choose Rodri, then Kevin De Bruyne, Foden, Mahrez, and Sterling are out.
You can't be pressuring him about who to pick.
I can handle 3 of those players not being in the team, but there's a little ginger Watson who needs to be in his team.
Who has chosen a team that doesn't have Kevin De Bruyne in it?
Exactly. So do the right thing.
Well, De Bruyne, if there's any Premier League team and it doesn't have De Bruyne in it, it's just null and void for stupidity reasons.
So make the right decision then.
De Bruyne.
Yeah, that's coming up next.
Sorry, what decision is it you want me to make?
Pick 2 defensive midfielders here for your team of this season.
Defensive midfielders.
Yeah, the names are on the list, yeah. De Bruyne's coming up next.
Why do I have to pick 2 defensive midfielders?
Because we've got 3 guys in the middle, we've got 2 holding, and we've got 1 creative player.
So Andy come and changing the rules, by the way.
I know. Come on, Andy. It's not that complicated.
I prefer 1 defensive midfielder and 2 attacking midfielders.
You don't have a choice, Andy.
Okay, all right.
It'll be laid down. You gotta play within the rules.
To be honest, Apollo, you didn't make that clear when you said choose your teams.
Yeah, making it clear now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
hey, I spent 2 hours prepping this thing, so it is what it is.
choose. I think my holding midfield player was Declan Rice.
Yeah, good. That's number one. So Rice is in there because he's had the most votes. I think literally everybody but one voted for Rice. So Rice
He's the only consensus so far, right?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's
So
correct.
that means we should probably switch formation.
I can't do that now. It's too much. I'll have to change all of this, and I'm not going to do that. It's going to take me another it's going to take me another 10, 15 minutes. So, so to Andy.
What team plays a double pivot? None of the top teams play a double pivot.
So, Andy, we've got Partey on 2 votes, Neves on 2 votes, and Rodri on 2 votes.
I was going to say Arsenal do, but then they're not a top team, are they?
No, Arsenal don't. They play a single.
I'm joking, boys. I'm joking.
No, we're not a top team because they beat us, and they know they're not a top team, so it's by default he's right.
Do you know how lucky you are that my tennis match went on so long tonight? You've avoided an hour of caning.
Well, listen, that's nothing compared to what we went through last night. We had a 4-hour stream, and it was very, very heated. So
yeah,
outside of that, we've already done our meltdown. So I'm just letting you know, if you choose Rodri, then Man City have used up their 2-player quota, and De Bruyne won't be able to be chosen for the next one.
He's telling you can't choose Rodri.
Whatever I have to do to ensure that De Bruyne is in the team, that's what I'm doing. So that means I can't choose Rodri. If you're telling me that De Bruyne would not be in the team if I choose
Just
Rodri.
to play devil's advocate, if Andy now chooses Basuma, we're still stuck where we were.
We are, yeah, we are. And then I don't know what we're going to have to do then. I'm just going to have to do a toss-up.
Is that Neves and Partey, Andy?
Sorry?
Is that
Neves and Partey?
No, behave.
Anything else is a stalemate, bro.
I think it would have to be. The problem is you need to tell me who's already been selected so I know.
Go on in.
I thought I did. So Rice has got 5 votes.
No. Who's been selected in the rest of the team, like goalkeeper, defenders? Otherwise, I don't know who's available.
That's what the team looks like now. Jose Sarr's in goal. Alexander Arnold is left back. Cancelo, Rudiger, centre backs. Pinnock is in there. Rice is in there. Declan Rice.
Pinnock?
We're looking. Yes.
Who's Pinnock?
Wow. Yeah. All I've got to say is wow. So how much?
He hasn't watched Brentford.
Yeah, but he's the highest rated centre back in the Premier League, along with James Tarkowski.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's not from anybody here, Andy. That's from who scored. Yeah. That's not from anybody here. Those are the figures we get from who scored. So the marks out of 10 player ratings is done as an average throughout the whole season. So those are what we call our wild cards. So we take the best players from all the best teams and we add
Alexander Arnold, Cancelo, Rudiger, and Rice were in my team. So those are that I agree with those. I wouldn't have chosen Sarr, and I wouldn't have chosen Pinnock.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I've got no idea who the guy was. So, yeah.
So your choices are, if you choose anyone other than Neves, or I can't believe Andy coming in and throw a grenade into the stream, man. Andy, your choice is between Partey and Neves. Anyone else you choose is going to be a stalemate, and then I'll have to toss a coin. I don't know how I'm going to do that.
If I've got a choice of Partey or Neves, I've got to choose Neves, haven't I?
So Neves is our guy.
No, we do have a lot of Spurs players, and they're on the reserve team.
So,
presumably the Spurs players are coming in the attacking part.
Right. So, guys, we move on to our creator in the midfield. Now, our wild card is John McGinn. he's averaged a rating which is the highest on this list throughout the season.
Can we just
Tony, please let me finish off this, and then you can go.
Yeah, we don't need to talk over Apollo. Don't do the talk over. It's only
Tony, I spent 2 hours typing this. I'm gonna get through it. Yeah. John Mcginn.
Can we just save ourselves 10 minutes? Can we just save ourselves a wasted 10 minutes and just say the answer is Kevin De Bruyne now?
Yeah,
and then we have Kevin De Bruyne, who's the second highest rated with 7.17, and then we have Conor Gallagher, who's the third.
Who makes these ratings?
I know.
Who scored? What do you mean? You know who scored this?
They have some blind men tracking sometimes. There's some blind men who are doing the ratings because they don't know what they're talking about.
So, Tony, you kick off. Who's your number? I think this is going to be
you're better off just saying who doesn't agree with Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah. Is there anybody here that thinks it shouldn't be Kevin De Bruyne? I think, yeah, you're right.
Hang on, this does depend. Is Jesus coming up on the forwards list? Because that could completely change the whole complexion of this.
He's not.
No, it's KDB.
KDB, man.
Yeah, I think that's a unanimous decision, guys. So we're going to move on. So what we have now, let me quickly show you the list before we move on. So we have our left wing attacker, we have our right wing attacker, and then we have our striker in the middle. So let's tackle the left-sided attacking player first. So we have Jota, we have Son, Raheem Sterling, Mane, Phil Foden, and Mount.
Son for me.
Yeah, I'm going with Son as well.
Why are you picking a Tottenham player? Andy wouldn't pick an Arsenal player.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's
Son by default, I would agree, but should you really pick Son?
21 goals. He's 3 goals off Mane.
He's
been brilliant. We all agree he's been brilliant.
Yeah. It's no choice for me. It's Son, easy. That's a walk-in for me. Tony.
Son.
Drew.
Quite frankly, if they asked me to vote in the Football Writers Association, I would actually have picked Son for Player of the Season. Quite frankly.
Wow.
But I've said it for 3 years now. I think Son is more important to Tottenham than what Harry Kane is at times.
I've said that to Andy so many times.
Brilliant.
They're both of equal importance. Because neither one of them functions well without the other.
Oh no, I could picture Son doing quite well at City, to be honest.
Andy, I've seen your team.
At Tottenham.
Andy, I've seen your team play without Harry Kane, and they're a really good team. And I've seen them play without Son, and they're not very good.
Okay.
No, it's improved. When Kane got injured before, they did well without Kane.
They had a better average points average without Son, without Kane. Sorry.
You're quoting them statistics again, Apollo. You know I don't like statistics.
I know, but I love them.
We're actually in 2022, Andy. I suggest that you change your perspective on these things because stats are here to stay. Just like VAR, by the way.
So, Drew, who was your guy, Drew?
Son. It's got to be Son. Out of that selection, Son.
That's 3 out of 3. Simon.
It's impossible to look beyond Son, isn't it? He's just been sensational this season. And the number of goals he scored is phenomenal. So it's easy vote that one.
It's crazy. When I talk about scoring goals from a winger and you got to put, Salah's the best player in the league. I mean, if Salah wasn't doing what he was doing, then Son would easily be the best player because of just the sheer. It's not that he's getting 20 goals. I make a big thing about Mahrez hitting it once. Raheem Sterling hit 23 goals once. Theo Walcott even scored 21 goals in the season once. But the fact that this guy is doing it for multiple seasons need to be respected.
Salah is not the best player in the league. He says the best offensive player in the league. Don't say he's the best player in the league.
Sorry, you talk to any pundit. You talk to any pundit.
I don't care who the pundits are.
But you don't care because that's your opinion.
He's not better than Van Dijk and he's not better than De Bruyne.
In the league.
Maybe
we'll talk about that after we do this team. We'll all say who we think is the best player in the league.
Okay.
So, let's go to we've got Song again from Simon, and we'll go to Neil.
Son, when you look at the other players, you can't put them in the team anyway. We've already got 2 Chelsea players. We've already got 2 Liverpool players. We've already got, well, I'm sorry, not 2 Liverpool players, 2 City players. So Son is in my team anyway, but he's the only natural one realistically.
He is. Bertram, who's your pick out of this?
Before I pick, I'm gonna ask the panel a question. Is Salah better than De Bruyne?
Absolutely not.
So how can he be the best player in the league when De Bruyne plays in the league? I'm confused with this logic.
You know, as I said to you guys in the group, it's kind of subjective. I mean, it depends on what you call a good player or the best player, because you're comparing different players in different positions. Yeah, so they might be the best player in their position, but not necessarily the best player overall.
But
how can you compare Salah and Diaz? How do you compare them? They play 2 completely different positions.
That's
so
what I'm saying.
The statement that was made was that Salah is the best player in the league. There was no qualification about position. I
don't agree that Salah is the best player in the year. Who said he was the best player in the league?
Football writers.
Well, what do I know?
Oh, Andy. Andy. Okay, guys, who's the Football Writers Association Player of the Year?
It's a biased vote because it's always based on who scored the most goals a lot of times.
So you don't want to say the name. I'll say it.
No, but I'm just saying it's a biased vote.
Right. Okay. So again, it's all subjective, isn't it?
Okay. So let me pick. I'll say it's no doubt his son, and the fact that his son showed you how devoid of ideas Arteta was yesterday. So you play a pressing game with Holding, who's slow as mouse, and Cedric playing against a player who can get behind them.
How did Arteta not play Tomiyasu at the right to cope with...
Andy.
Hold on. What's going on,
guys? Great question, Andy. Great question.
What's going on? We're here doing the list that we're talking about last night.
No, because it bugs me, and I'm still frustrated by it.
I'm deliriously happy Arteta was so naive to play Cedric at right back. But if I was Arteta last night, I would have played Tomiyasu at right back to try and deal with Son.
Grab it back, Apollo.
Guys, I'm going to mute you if we're not getting on this. We're going well off the rails at the moment here. So, Andy, have you got anybody outside of Son? Son is an overwhelming favourite anyway.
Not. It's Son's in my team, so yeah. Son.
Brilliant. So, guys, that's a lock for Son. So we're going to go to the right attacking midfield. Neil did mention that there's already teams that have got 2 players in there already. So we have to be careful who we're choosing. So let's have a look. So we've got
Salah has to be there, surely.
We've already got 2. We've already got 2 Man City players. So Mahrez is off the table. We've got 2
Chelsea players.
2 Chelsea players. So Chelsea's off the table. Liverpool, we've got Trent Alexander.
We've got 1 Liverpool.
All right. Okay.
One Liverpool player.
Yeah.
So it's Salah. It's got to be.
Yeah, for me, it's Salah on this. I think I'm going to do the Drew thing here, and Tony. Is there anybody that's not choosing Salah? I think the team pretty much picks itself from here.
I'm choosing Saka.
What?
Hang on, Bertram, you've spent the past year berating Saka 95% of the time. Will you stop at nothing to get one Arsenal player on this list?
Do you realize I'm kidding, right?
I don't
actually.
Oh,
Jesus.
So, guys, before we carry on, let me actually tell you who was the highest top 3 rated players at this position in the year. Number 1, Salah, with a rating of 7.44, the highest on Who Scored's website. Second, which is the 3rd highest score in the Premier League, is Saka, with a 7.13 rating. But not even that. Look who's number 3. Alan Saint-Maximin, with a rating of 7.1.
All right, you've done it now. You've completely made a
You've broken it. You've broken it now. You've broken it. You should just left that one.
I'm just here to bring me the news, man.
I was willing to let you have the Saka stats. I was thinking, it's all right. You've just misread something. No, Saint-Maximin is the most overrated player in the Premiership. The man has no end product.
Don't start him off.
So I would say this, which is, I agree with everyone about the stats now. And now Andy is making the point, which is there's both stats and the eye test. I watch it maximum every week. He was doing brilliantly up until December. He's fallen off the wagon. And he and Saka don't deserve those ratings they're getting. Sorry, they don't. Where was Saka yesterday? Did Saka play yesterday? Sorry.
No, didn't turn up. No,
I don't get how Ziyech and Rafinha are in there either. Basically, this list is Mahrez and Salah. They've been consistently brilliant. They've both consistently scored goals. Salah's the much better player between him and Mahrez. There's no doubt about it. The other four, they're not really worthy to clean the boots of the other two, quite frankly.
Could I also point out that Salah was absolutely sensational until about 3 months ago, ripped it up. He hasn't been at his best since the African Nations Cup.
That's true. That is true.
It's probably because he's tired, but he still leads the league in scoring.
No, Mane's still in his head.
Yeah, but most of those 20 goals were scored before the new year.
Yeah.
Since he's come back from African Nations, he's scored about 3.
Yeah, it's true. It's true, Andy. Where is Mane? Mane didn't make the list?
Mane was in the left-sided player.
He plays on the left. He doesn't play on the right.
No, I know, but he wasn't on the left. When we go to the left, he wasn't in that list.
Yeah, he was.
Basically, Mane did Salah in the African Nations, and then he did him again in World Cup qualifying.
Yeah. So, Bertram, on the left was Jota, Song, Raheem Sterling, Mane, Foden, and Mount.
Oh, I've missed Mane then. Okay.
Yeah.
Hang on a second. Where's Jared Bowen then?
No.
He was in the left-sided one.
Yeah, he was in the. He was up against Kevin De Bruyne.
He played on the right. No, he plays on the right.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
He plays on the right.
Bowen plays on the right mostly.
Yeah, he plays on the right.
We chose two.
I want a Stuart inquiry. Who made all these lists?
I did, but he wouldn't have won it anyway. So, and he's had a really good season.
He messed up my list anyway. So.
He's had 10 goals and 10 assists. He's had a very, very good season as well, Jared Bowen. But
that's a very good season, actually.
Yeah, very good season.
What happened to Diaz at centre half? Why didn't no one choose Diaz?
Because they want. Because Cancelo is the best left back, and De Bruyne. Yeah, got to be rules. No more than 2 players from one team.
I get it.
Yeah, City has too many players.
So we're looking at right wing here, though, and pretty much Ronaldo plays on the right wing for United whenever he starts.
He's a striker.
Ronaldo, he's in the striker category. Thank heavens for that, because if Ziyech was rated above Ronaldo in the Premier League, someone needs a effing eye test.
So our last position of the night, and probably our most controversial, is the striker.
Wow!
I don't see why it's controversial. It's Kane.
For me, it is.
I think we should play with a false 9.
Yeah, I'm going with Ronaldo. If Ronaldo wasn't there, this team would be dead, man.
What about upside down 6?
Yeah, if Ronaldo was the amount of, I mean, let's look. Kane's got 15 goals, 8 assists. Him and Song are the best tandem in the league. There's no question about it. But this guy Ronaldo has rescued easily the worst team out of the top teams in the top
easily.
Game after game after game in the Premier League and the cups in Europe, this guy's bailed them out time and time again. He's had no service, no help.
He started well. He then had a lull for about 3 months, and then he's come strong again at the end.
Who are we talking about? Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
Didn't he?
Ronaldo didn't do a lot between January and March.
Harry Kane didn't score a goal till after Christmas, didn't he?
Yeah, Kane went through some awful form.
Yeah,
one game he had just 10 touches in one game, which was just terrible. And just a couple of weeks back, they had 2 games where they didn't even have a shot on target. I mean, even against us, we beat Man United, and the only guy that turned up was Ronaldo. Look, Ronaldo.
Are we back to Arsenal again?
We're back to Ronaldo. Ronaldo gets my vote. Tony?
Yeah, same with me.
2 votes for Ronaldo. Drew?
Kane.
1 for Kane, 2 for Ronaldo. Simon?
Well, I love Ivan Toney with my Brentford hat on. 12 goals in his first season in the Premier League is a good effort, but he's third on this list for me, with Ronaldo second and Kane just sharing it as my choice as striker.
Oh,
I also want to say though, Ivan Toney had a rating of 7.32. That's ridiculous. Only Salah has a better rating throughout the whole season. So Tony is big time. What impresses me with Tony is the assist, because it shows you what he can do to bring others into play. He's a total package.
It should be said that playing for Brentford, with all due respect to Brentford, Tony getting 12 goals is as a remarkable achievement as what Kane and Ronaldo have done for Spurs and United, respectively.
Good point.
He has done very well.
I agree.
Good point.
I agree. Neil. So hold on. Let me get the scores on the doors. So we've got
2 each.
2 each. Right. Okay.
To be honest, I'm going to go with who I went with when I picked my team. Yeah, and it's Kane.
So that's 3 for Kane and 2 for Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Bertram.
Oh, we know where this goes now, don't we?
He's not on the list.
Who's he talking about?
Silva is not on the list. I told you it's a false 9 because nobody strikers to me. I'm going to say Kane, frankly. I'm not a Ronaldo fan. He walks all games. Sorry, can't get in my team. He doesn't do anything else apart from walking. So if we can score goals standing in the box. Sorry, I'm going to choose Kane.
This is like our most comprehensive thing since left back.
No, and this point is great actually around Tony, because to score 12 goals for Brentford, first time up, don't have a lot of people who are providing you with balls in positions where he can easily put the ball in the net. And he scored some good goals with his head. He's played well, but I'm going to say Kane, I think.
And Andy?
Kane.
Well, we know who he's going to say, innit?
Excellent. So, guys, we have our team.
Because he's Spurs, because you could have gone through the rest of the team and I wouldn't have chosen any Spurs players. But Son and Kane are exceptional, and they deserve to be in this team. But there wouldn't be any other Spurs players in it. So it's not just because it's Spurs.
So, guys, I am. Let me just move this thing out of the way first. So, guys, we finished our players. What I didn't have the time to do was get a manager sorted out. So we're going to go around the clock and see if we can find ourselves a manager for this amazing team that we've chosen. Which, by the way, it's a very mixed. It really is the truest Premiership first 11, because we've put the rules in place that no team can have. You know, we could have easily just gone, oh well, let's pick half the team of Man City and half the team of Liverpool, and that really wouldn't have given respect to the players that were turning up from other teams. So I do like this team because it really shows and pays homage to respect of actually the players who have actually turned up from various different teams. And it really does look like a Premiership 11 team rather than two teams in the Champions League final. So let's choose ourselves a manager.
The manager, is that included in the count for the teams?
No.
Okay, cool.
No.
Well, it's really funny because earlier today I posted in the group, in case you missed it, I put the Sky Sports candidates for manager of the season, which includes Frank, Guardiola, Howe, Klopp, and Vieira. So there are some notable absences. I'm going to go for Howe.
Wow. Okay.
I think he's done a phenomenal job. Phenomenal.
Hold on a second. What are they in 14th place?
Yeah, but they didn't win a game until after December, didn't they? Yeah. When he came in and replaced Bruce, and they went on a winning streak for a while.
Is Moyes not on the list?
There's no list. Sky Sports list, but you can put him on there.
Yeah, this is just coming from the heart, guys.
There's no official list, Danny, but I'm just saying on Sky Sports.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was their list. I mean, Vieira is a bit of a surprise in there.
So I'm just letting you know, I'm thinking out loud, so all of you lot can hear me. The 14th position from Newcastle. I can't give him manager of the year for that. He can't be the manager of my team in 14th place. Steven Gerrard, though, in 12th. That's not bad.
Nah, he got the team.
Hey, I said I'm thinking out loud, man. Let me think.
Don't think out loud then. Don't think out loud.
Graham Potter in 9th place. A lot of respect to Graham Potter there. David Moyes.
Potter should definitely be in the conversation.
Yeah, I think so. I think he should. David Moyes at West Ham, Arteta in 4th place at Arsenal, and my favourite manager, Jurgen Klopp. But
Klopp.
see, Klopp. Yeah, it's difficult because Klopp, he ain't gonna win the title, is he? You got to be my manager for achieving something.
Who did the most with the least? That's the way I look at it.
Arteta. That's not even questionable for me. It's not even questionable for me. He came in.
He spent 150 mil last year.
Yeah, and brought in 6 nobody. He brought in 6 players that nobody.
That's his fault that he bought 6 nobody.
Okay, Bertram's answered my question. I'm going for Arteta. Tony.
I've already picked. I've got Eddie Howe.
Yep, you got Eddie Howe. Drew.
Yeah.
I would genuinely take Frank from Brentford. I think he's done an amazing job to not just get them into mid-table, but make them a very secure-looking outfit in his first year at this level.
And he's higher than Eddie Howe in 13th. So there you go. That's what I'm saying.
The thing is, though, Newcastle didn't start until Eddie Howe came along. But I'm going to be very honest. I've seen Eddie Howe manage under pressure before now when he was at Burnley, and it all fell to absolute tatters for him. At Bournemouth, when things started to go wrong, the slide went very wrong. Yeah. Eddie Howe's a good time manager. When that team's up and bouncing, they're going to do brilliantly. But as soon as the pressure kicks in, which it will do next season, because that's the burden of having the kind of money they've got, will he still be able to get those results, or will he be Mark Hughes at Man City? Will he just be another deer in the headlights?
We're not judging for next season. We're judging for this season.
No,
I think that Frank at Brentford's done a better job because he didn't go out and spend 39 million on Guimaraes. He went and got Christian Eriksen.
That is a good shout. I mean, they're in 13th place. They're 9 points above the drop. They've received their base 94 million for the Premiership this season, plus bonuses of TV appearances go on top. So they've easily got 100 million this season. They'll get it again next year because they've been in the Premier League. That would allow them to go out. Simon, do you think they're going to use that money to invest? They've got a new stadium. Do you think they're going to use that money to, first of all, which is most important, and we know this from other various sports like the NFL, use that money to first reinvest it into your club, sign your best players on longer term deals, then go out and get some free agent talents? Is that where you think they're going to go, Simon?
Well, Brentford have always invested wisely. The key signing this summer will be to sign Christian Eriksen, at least for the first 6 months of the season. If we can get him on a 1-year deal and he plays with us at least until the World Cup, that would be the most important signing. From a Brentford perspective, I wouldn't be surprised to see Ivan Toney move on in the summer. He seems to angle after a move to a bigger club, so I could see him going to somewhere like Newcastle. But whatever happens in that regard, I think we will sign 3, maybe 4 players, which will just increase the overall quality at the club.
How much is Toney worth right now? I can't remember how much years is left on his deal. I think it's 3 years.
I think so.
Yeah.
I can't see us selling him for less than 50 million, and I've seen 60 million mentioned as a possible fee that someone like Newcastle might be prepared to pay.
That's a
How long did you say he's got left on his contract?
3 years.
He's got either 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's 3. I think it's 3 years. So
how old is he?
He's got to be 26, 27?
26. Yeah, 26.
26.
If Calvert-Lewin is worth 50, then this guy's definitely worth a lot more than that.
Calvert-Lewin was worth 50. Precipitously over the last 4 or 5 months.
Oh my God! So that is a really good shout. So do we have 2 nods for Brentford there? For Frankfurt?
In terms of manager of the season, I think it's too early to make this call because you've got some massive games coming up for Klopp and Guardiola,
exactly,
which shapes the outcome of the season for both clubs. So it's hard to make the call. But based on where we are today,
same could be said for Conte and Arteta.
Yeah, definitely. But obviously, I'm biased, so Thomas Frank gets my vote. But I think Eddie Howe did a good job at Newcastle because they were in a relegation spot, I believe. I think they were 3rd bottom when he joined, and the pressure there to succeed, the pressure to keep them up was enormous. I think he's done a good job to guide them to safety so quickly. And Dean, Apollo, you mentioned Graham Potter. He's quietly doing a very good job at Brighton. So he's worth a mention.
Agreed, but I have to again enforce the point that Steven Gerrard have taken Aston Villa above Brentford and Newcastle, and he's completely flown under the radar. And not only that, but on this very podcast, I told Bertram, I told Drew, I told Andy and Tony that Steven Gerrard was going to fail, and I was wrong. All four of them said, "Nah, he's gonna get it done," and I said, "I can't see it happening."
It depends on what you're measuring success by.
Can I get my
survival, Andy? Survival.
He's 12th success for Aston Villa.
So I'll say this: I don't think you can give it to Gerrard. Villa has made a ton of investments. Coutinho, you have Watkins, you have Ings, you have Bailey. They made a ton of investments. No way Gerrard can be rewarded.
You forgot their best player, their goalkeeper. He's definitely kept them in there.
Yeah, they have Mcginn. They have a suite of very good players. Maybe he's underachieved, frankly.
So, Neil, who's your manager?
That was their gift from Arteta, the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Okay. So my manager, it's very obvious who I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose Klopp. Loads of reasons why. I mean, when he first came to Liverpool, we were struggling to stay in the top 7. He's now brought them up to definitely in the top 2. We've won the Champions League under him. We've won everything apart from the FA Cup now. Yeah, and that might happen tomorrow. If you're looking at just this season, Liverpool have never been this far in those 3 competitions where they've actually got to 3 finals. And
I just didn't.
Nobody's ever done it before.
Yeah,
what he's achieved this season, nobody has ever done it before.
Yeah, so I have a question.
But what I'm saying is, if you look at the way Klopp is and the way he is when he's talking to reporters, the way he is with the team, the way he is with the fans, he's done so much for that club throughout his tenure. But if we're looking at it just this season, as I said, he's taken us to 3 finals in 1 season.
So is it the PL Manager of the Year, or this is for all competition? I'm just want to make sure the criteria is clear.
Well, we have to keep it in the confines. This is a Premier League first 11, so it's a Premier League. I guess it has to be Premier League. Yeah. And the reason why I didn't give Klopp, as I stated in my piece, was because he ain't going to win the title. So, well, not yet anyway. It could change, but looking at the table, I don't think he's going to win it. So that's why he didn't get my vote.
Yeah, but then if you're just talking about just the title, then that means that all the other competitions aren't worth anything.
No, this is the PL Manager of the Year.
If he doesn't win
Manager of the Year, PL Manager of the Year, not all competition Manager of the Year, not the best manager.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, that if he's taken Liverpool to 3 finals, and even City are still obviously favourites for the Premiership. So just because he doesn't win the Premiership doesn't mean he's been the best manager. I mean, he's taken him to 3 finals.
Yeah, that's
Manager of the Year.
It's hard for me. He's my favourite manager, so it's very hard for me to not agree with you.
Yeah,
he's my favourite manager.
But what I'm saying is, what are you grading on? If you're just grading on just winning the Premiership, then there's no point talking about any other manager.
Yeah, you instantly disadvantage Frank and Vieira if it's just based on. If it's not based on just the Premiership.
I think it was Drew that made the point that it's what have you done to achieve for your team this season? So the fact that Liverpool were second, that's why I didn't vote for him. The fact that Arsenal are 4th with their new manager, that's why I gave it to Arteta. Bertram, thanks to Bertram, he's the one that helped me put that over the line. And that's why I made that decision.
So you're basing yours on actual position rather than anything that they might have won, like cups, as an example. Then
I'm basing mine on the achievement of the manager for that team, and the achievement.
But Arsenal's achievement is getting 4th at the moment.
Yes, with the youngest team in the league and the most inexperienced manager.
Yeah, so Liverpool's achievement so far is 1 final, 1 cup, and two additional finals.
Okay.
So that must count for something, and that's why.
Yeah, it does. It does. You don't have to justify your pick. I'm just saying that we, as long as we understand the criteria, then that's fine.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to understand what the criteria was, because someone mentioned about not winning the premierships. I said, well, then what are we gauging it on?
So Thomas Frank is Thomas Frank. Thomas Frank is still our number one contender to manage this team. Bertram, who's your choice?
I'm saying Graham Potter. When you have Danny Welbeck as your center forward, and you only have 11 losses in the year, which is what, probably fourth best losses in the year.
Same as Spurs.
And just gave up just over 42 goals for the entire season. And you're still running really well. You played all the top teams well. You don't have a lot of name players in your team. You played Spurs off the park 2 weeks ago. In fact, Spurs didn't get a shot on goal, and they just beat my team. They must be doing something right. I don't agree with Neil about Klopp is probably the best manager in world football, frankly.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Premier League. It's very defined in terms of what you have done this season, and I think Potter has done the most with the least, frankly.
That's a good shout, and that would have been my runners-up. It definitely would have been Potter. Andy, who would be your manager to manage this wonderful team that we've created?
Before I tell you who my pick is, that I'm just going to say that there are some people that need a name check. I think people that have done impressively this year are Moyes at West Ham. I think he's done an impressive job. I think Franks at Brentford has done an impressive job. I think Potter has been very impressive for Brighton as well. All of them have had, little dips during the season at various points, but overall, what those managers have done, and Eddie Howe as well, what he's done at Newcastle has been quite remarkable when you think of where Newcastle are and what they'd achieved when he went, come the turn of the year. What they've done since has been remarkable. So there's a few that have made it, but the one person that I've not heard anyone say is Guardiola.
Yeah.
And yet, I understand the reluctance to say about Guardiola because of the whole money issue and buying a team. But for me, City are the best footballing side in the league, and Guardiola sets that team up to play. Now, are you judging it based on the fact that he's got unlimited resources? Then that's you're basically saying we can't give it to Guardiola because he's got unlimited resources. So therefore, he's not doing as great a job as Franks or Moyes or whatever. But if you're talking about the team that is being produced, Manchester City play the best football and they're brilliant to watch. And Guardiola has moulded that side. And he is on the verge of winning a fourth title in 5 years, which is some achievement in the Premier League. And so with watching fantastic football, possibly getting 100 goals for the second time. These are incredible things that he's doing, albeit with the resources to do it. But saying all that, my choice is actually Klopp, because despite the fact that he said some stupid things after the Spurs game last week, but we'll forgive anyone doing that. But I think
we're
Klopp.
At a stalemate. Oh God, we're at a stalemate.
So can I just say something? When we picked the team of the season and we restricted 2 players, Man City had a player, except for maybe at inside left, center back, almost in every single category. They had a player or multiple players. That will tell you that they're stacked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I can't pick you if you're going to be able to produce players in every single position, even multiple players. I can't pick you.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with that 100%.
Nowadays, Klopp also has resources. Buying Diaz, buying Jota, who have produced really well. Klopp is a brilliant manager, but he's also now getting stacked with resources.
Yeah, because what do you think? Jota came in the year before Diaz did.
Yep.
Yeah. And Thiago came in, same thing. Jota came in. He's got a lot of resources nowadays. So they're brilliant managers, don't get me wrong, but they have the resources and they should be producing.
But to be
And
fair
don't
to
forget
Klopp,
Yeah, why do you mention Conte? Wait, guys. Why is Conte not mentioned?
And what about Guardiola conspiring to lose a game that he's got 2-goal head starting within 2 minutes of the end of a game?
Yeah.
Oh, that's controversial.
well,
Words I start Rob Holding against the most dangerous forward in the league at the moment.
Last week, the Guardiola, when it comes to the biggest games, overthinks things. He made substitutions he didn't need to make in that game against Real Madrid. He didn't need to bring Fernandinho on and take Mahrez off. That was a stupid substitution in my eyes.
Right. Hey, Simon.
So I've just sent a message to Darren. Oh, look, baby's up. I was hoping he was going to be asleep. Hey, little one. Welcome to the world of YouTube.
Where's the kit? He needs to be in a kit.
So Darren's just sent me a message back. So it's Klopp. Klopp's going to be our manager. Klopp gets the deciding vote.
Klopp is brilliant.
So we have. Can I get that right? Oh, come on. So guys, we have completed our team. And where were we? Here we go. Let's just
I'm going to be honest. I think our team's getting relegated with some of the decisions we had to make.
No, I was worried. I was worried about the defense because
Andy's still trying to work out who Pinnock is.
The thing is, when you look at that team looks like a brilliant team, but realistically, we don't actually know if they will actually play well together.
That team wouldn't work together.
That's where the manager
Klopp would not be able to manage that team.
Manager,
and I think Klopp's brilliant, but I don't think he could manage that squad of players.
He'll have his it will be difficult because, as I said, we don't know if these players can play well together.
And I've just noticed we've got rid of Salah, and we're now going to play a salad on the right wing.
Oh God, sorry, that's my fault.
Auto crack, just ducking up life.
Yeah, my fault. Right, there you go. Yeah, that's our team of the season, guys. You happy with that? First of all, let me go through Tony. Now, this question is obviously who do you think is the best player in the league? Bertram talked about it, and we're just going to open it up, and then we can close off the stream. You know my thoughts. Salah's the best player in the league. He has been for a few years now. Before him, it was Hazard. Hazard went off to Real Madrid. Tony, who's the best player in the league?
Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne. Who's the best player in the league, Drew?
Right.
Just say the name.
It's De Bruyne, then Kane, then Salah. That order.
Song is better than Kane, though.
No. Son's more important to the way Spurs play than Kane. Doesn't mean he's better than Kane. He's more important to the way that Spurs play, in my opinion.
Okay, that's good. Simon, who's the best player in the league?
Oh, for me, it's a tie between De Bruyne and Salah. But if you're judging on this season, Salah just shades it for me.
Agreed. Neil, who's the best player in the league?
Wait for it, gents. Seriously, my view is KDB.
Oh wow, that's a surprise.
Salah's a striker. Obviously, and there's loads of things that he misses. He's greedy. Lots of chances he misses as well. Yeah. Liverpool would have scored more goals had he played more for the team. Whereas KDB plays for the team every game. In every game, he's very unselfish. Yeah. And on that point, that's why I prefer KDB. I'd love to have KDB in our team. I would love him to be in our team. So KDB for me.
Bertram, who's your best player in the league?
So it's between De Bruyne and Van Dijk. I can't believe no one believes Van Dijk is I'm shocked. You guys watch Van Dijk play football?
Yeah.
50-yard passes, like he's making 2-yard passes, taking on people one-on-one and destroying them. They can't beat it. Do we just think offense when we play football is only people who can score goals we think about? He scored goals too.
Bertrand, but Bertrand, the thing is, what you got to look at is when most people look at a great player or one of the best players, they're normally looking at offense rather than defense. Yeah. If you said defense,
if you're a football aficionado, you understand football. When you take corners and Van Dijk in the box, teams are nervous to mark him. They can't even mark him in the box when he's going up for headers.
Yes, but you got to look at generically. I understand what you're saying, because at the end of the day, I think VVD he's a brilliant player. Yeah, he's a brilliant player. But the thing is, most people, when they look at a player, they're looking at offensive play rather than a defensive player.
Hey, Neil, you know what's funny, Neil? When you press Liverpool, no one presses Van Dijk. Have you guys ever watched that?
Yeah, no, I know. Look, I'm an LFC fan, obviously, but what I'm just answering generically. I'm not putting my favoritism is of every Liverpool player, personally, right? But when people talk about a great player, they're looking at players who are normally good going forward, not necessarily defense. That's why you've got Ronaldo as one of the best players. That's why you got Messi as one.
That's why you don't generally.
That's why you've got Mbappe as one
of the best player of all time.
That's what I'm saying. That's when people are talking about that, no one's talking about a defensive player.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
they don't mention
I'm not saying it's right or right. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, Bertrand.
They're normally talking about Ronaldo, Messi.
Exactly.
Cruyff.
You go through. You can look at players like Maradona. Yeah, wasn't a defender. Pele wasn't a defender. Cruyff, not a defender. All these players that they talk about when they talk about great players are always forward moving players, not defensive players. Unfortunately, that's the way it's been so far.
Apart from their Kaiser Beckenbauer.
Yeah, I understand all of that, but Van Dijk has been head and shoulders above his competition for years. It's not even close.
He's been great.
Yeah, he has.
He has been. I watch him play and I marvel. Never get pressed. He pings 40-yard pass like Gerrard does on a continuous basis. He's challenging in the box to go headers and he score goals. I'm picking up. When I said it all, I think Kevin De Bruyne has been brilliant coming from midfield, scoring 15 goals and 9 assists this season. So he also runs all game. He pressures, right? He's not playing a prima donna like you see with PSG, where nobody tackles, they only play one way. He plays both ways. So he's a complete footballer. But Van Dijk I see Van Dijk, I see Kevin De Bruyne, Van Dijk, and then possibly Salah. I don't see Salah as the best player in the league.
No, I don't think Salah's the best player in the league either, to be honest.
So before we go, guys, I just want to say thank you for everybody who done well with your votings and we got to a consensus. But I just wanted to show you guys, the question was going to be, who do you think is the most creative player in the league for the whole season? It's actually Bruno Fernandes, number 1, 82 chances created. Then Trent Alexander, 79. De Bruyne, 71. James Prowse, who just missed our list. Just missed our list. 65 chances created. Bukayo Saka, number 5 in the league, 62. Then Martin Odegaard, between the months of November and March had the most chances created than anybody in the Premier League. And then Rafinha, who we did talk about him. I think he was actually on the list as well today. And then Salah. So again, it's not just about scoring goals. Salah and Song both show you that you can actually create as well. And this is what, Bertram has talked about, having a creative front three that can do all of your work, not just score, but create goals. And a lot of teams seems to be moving that way now. And then Bernardo Silva. What concerns me is the lack of Chelsea players we've talked about today as a whole. I think that, there was Mason Mount we talked about for a while, but it's really strange. And it makes you wonder, if Chelsea don't get it right this summer, I'll leave this question for Andy. If Chelsea don't get it right this summer in the transfer market, they're really going to struggle next season.
Well, I don't know about struggle, but they might struggle to make top 4. But I don't see. I still think that they'll do it. But losing Rudiger will be massive for Chelsea. Rudiger is top class. He really is, and that's going to be massive for Chelsea. Well. And if they don't get someone in to replace him, that is going to be a problem for them.
There's loads of great
situation reminds you of
There's loads of great centre backs available. Loads.
Not in Rudiger's class. There's not, Tony. He's a different level.
I beg to differ, Andy. I think there are loads. I think there's at least 6 in the Premier League. At least.
As good as Rudiger? No.
Wow, that's a big shout.
Who are currently available? Because I put Rudiger in that class right now with Diaz,
if you're talking
Van
about
Dijk,
Chelsea,
Matip.
everybody's available. If you're talking about Chelsea, everybody's available.
I mean, let's think of it this way, guys. He's going to Real Madrid.
Liverpool players, or even Arsenal players, or Spurs players. He's not getting any of those players.
You don't need to.
Get Van Dijk.
You still got
Van Dijk, Maguire.
You got the guy at Palace. You just mentioned Pinnock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wolves have got a great centre back.
And so Cody.
They're not as good as Rudiger, Tony. Come on, they're not as good as Rudiger.
Connor Cody.
Yeah,
I think Ray one day will be as good as Rudiger, but at this very moment in time, he's a long way off of it. I love him.
France, and you're gonna pick about another 4 or 5 from France. Go down to Spain, you're gonna get another.
Well, we have Saliba. We have Saliba, who may be as.
Thank you. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There are literally tons of centre backs. You go to Germany, you're gonna find another 10.
Yeah, I think centre forward is where the world is struggling, not centre backs. Yeah,
not centre backs, Andy.
Yeah.
So, guys, that's it. We're done for tonight. I want to thank you guys all. This is the longest show we've done this year because we're building up to our finale and the end of the season. Not long to go now, guys. Less than 10 days to go for the season to wrap up. So I want to thank everybody here. We got through it. It was a marathon. We got there in the end. I'll put the results on Twitter so that everybody can see what we're all about. And let's enjoy this weekend's football prize that we have. A lot of good games on, man. Going to be some heartbreaks.
I like the way you chose to do this tonight instead of talking about the Spurs-Arsenal game.
It's not.
We talked about that before you came, Andy.
Wait. I have a question for Andy. What position are you, Andy, in the league? What position are you?
Yeah, where are you, Andy?
Where are you, Andy?
Unbelievable. And once again, Simon, thank you for joining us.
Talk to me at 10 o'clock on Monday night.
Thanks for joining us, Simon, and we hope to see you at the end of the season. We hope to see you when we wrap it all up. But well done for Brentford as well. A big shout out to them. Yep. Totally unexpected, mate. I was thinking it was touch and go. I thought they were going to be around the third from bottom, fourth from bottom, just fighting for that place. But they are 9 points clear, and you got to feel pretty good about it, man.
Thanks, Apollo. Yeah, it's been a tremendous season as a Brentford fan. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Thoroughly enjoyed being on the podcast tonight, and great to see everyone again. So
Simon is the first Brentford fan I've met. I know this. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I've actually known Simon for about 30 years. Simon's one of the guys. He actually used to for the Washington Redskins. He used to actually do the whole commissioner gig for us. So we've flown to Washington to watch them play at the FedEx Stadium.
So you guys don't like success. You don't appreciate success, right? You like,
but Simon, he's a Giants fan, so forgive him.
Okay, I have to say, my Scottish team is Celtic, so I've had a fair degree of success over the last. It balances things out.
Yeah, yes, and look who's had success up there. Look at Drew just tweaking his mustache up there.
No, I'm going to be honest though. It's been a great decade for me recently. Obviously, City have been good, the Eagles have been good, but then I do also support Orlando Magic in basketball, and they've been shockingly bad for my entire life. So don't worry about
it. You know, Drew. I never thought Orlando played basketball anymore. I mean, I knew they would be.
It's true. It's true. See,
yeah, we've basically decided to become a giant conveyor belt of talent. But unfortunately, the talent is always going to be terrible talent. So, yeah.
Yeah, I've got ties to Orlando Magic, as Tony knows. I've showed him pictures of me meeting the whole team. We had friends there who used to work at the operations office who introduced us to the team and met Hardaway, Nick Anderson, great guys who worked for there, Dennis Scott. And so really had some, enjoyable moments. My wife is an Orlando Magic fan. So, ever since Shaq left, so did, and they got swept by the Rockets 4-0 in the final.
They have been shockingly bad. My company had an event in Orlando, and the entire company went to the Orlando game, and we must have been the only fans in the stands. They are shocking.
So for those of you who don't follow American sports, I'm talking to you, Andy. You know they have the draft system where the worst team picks the best player. You do know that, right?
Yeah, not the richest team buy the best player, which is
so what happened is Orlando was tanking in a season, and the NBA changed the rules to a lottery system. and it's the funniest thing you've ever heard. So these guys threw the towel in for the whole season, only for the commissioner, David Stern, to say, actually, I'm going to take 10 teams and roll the dice, and whoever comes out worse is going to pick the best player. And it's just something hilarious. I think they might even do that to the NFL. I think it's coming because the way teams are just bagging it in right now and getting that choice of the best player, I think that's coming to the NFL, man.
I would think, my last point is this, I would think people in Europe would appreciate that because it's giving the small teams a chance to be successful. And your wealth doesn't determine whether you win or lose.
No, we just take oil money to turn our bad teams good.
Oh my God. All right, guys, it's midnight now. This is the latest we've ever gone. I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for joining the stream, man.
Can I just ask one question?
Yeah.
Has Arteta stopped crying yet?
Hey, Andy.
He wasn't crying. He said, I'm not saying nothing.
No, Apollo, can I take this? Andy, no one cries more than Conte. He's the biggest crier in the world. I'm shocked he said that. And if you lose to Burnley or tie, you're going to see how he cries about the ref, about the ball, about the lighting. You just watch.
He is, Andy. I got to give him that. Arteta, when they put the camera in front of Arteta, he said, I'm not going to say nothing because if I do, I'm going to get banned. And I don't want to get banned. He said, I don't want to get banned on Monday night because my team
said lots without saying nothing, right? Yeah?
Yes. It was the Jose Mourinho approach of whinging that he actually employed.
He said, if I say something, they're going to ban me and my team needs me for Monday night. That's what he said.
No, we don't need him.
I don't understand what the complaint was. It was a penalty. It was a red card. What's the argument? I don't understand what the arguments are.
The argument is it wasn't a penalty and it wasn't a red card. That was
it. You know what's funny?
You can't seriously think that, Apollo. You can't.
Hey, Drew, and Apollo, you know Andy's in the forum we're in. If that happened to Spurs, Andy would have lost his marbles.
He would have gone.
Andy would have lost it.
I'll give my neutral perspective of it. Quite frankly, Holding could have been sent off before the straight red card, which it should have been.
No,
it was a penalty.
Hold on. I thought you said you was going to be unbiased.
That is my unbiased opinion. I genuinely think. Holding kicked Son whilst he was down for what should have been a yellow card, which wasn't given.
You haven't even mentioned the elbow from Song. On
so I don't think it was an elbow. Is it an elbow when you're being pulled back and fouled?
Yes, it's an elbow. I'm gonna have to get
if your elbow gets drawn into the player, but you elbow? I don't think it is. And plus, if Holding had actually been sent off like he should have been for kicking Son whilst he was down, would there have been the opportunity
not
for it?
Holding for anything. His manager left him out to dry. Put him on an island with a player who was running rings around him. Arteta was atrocious, and we got what we deserved. Because as Andy said, which is if you're the opposition, you're saying, where is Tomiyasu? Why is he not on the right covering Son when he played him early in the season and locked him down? Where is Tomiyasu? That's fundamental, basic, infantile mistake. And
it was tactical naivety at best and just absolute disregard for how football should be played at worst.
And why put Ben White on the bench? If when Holding gets sent off, you don't bring him on. When Gabriel gets a hammy, you don't bring him on. Why have him on the bench? I don't get it.
What I don't understand is after Holding got his first yellow, and you can see the battle between him and Son. Why didn't Arteta kind of say, look, I can see these guys aren't going to cool down. My man's already got a yellow. I better take him off before he gets sent off.
Please stop. No, Bertrand,
text that in the text. When I text it, didn't happen.
Hold on, Bertrand. I got it, guys. If you didn't understand how this game plays, you have to put 5 guys on the bench. Yeah, regardless of what happens, you have to put 5 guys on the bench. Ben White was only said to be 75% fit from the hamstring. He's not ready.
Put that cabinet player on the bench then.
Yeah.
Clearly,
play on the bench.
That's the reason why bring him on shows
That's
you
the reason
clearly
why he
that Ben
couldn't go
White
on.
was not ready to play. Otherwise, he would have played him.
No, he couldn't play. He couldn't.
Andy, we got out managing that game. That's all that happened. Conte is just a better manager.
Did you not have got the game postponed again though because of COVID or something?
Yeah, we tried, but the FA wasn't picking up the phone. So hold on. So this is for Drew. This is Son's elbow on. You can see right there.
What does that show?
His arm was here,
It's
and
a
he moves
still
it.
image.
Look at the
It's a
direction.
still image of literally holding Son down after he's fouled him and gone through the back of him.
So it's a still. Tony, do you want to talk them through this one because it's almost like you know what's funny about the whole thing yesterday is everyone pretends that they didn't see this. Drew didn't even want to bring it up.
I don't think that Son did anything wrong. He's literally been manhandled to the ground.
And actually, if you saw that clip, he elbows him twice.
Yes, and is that before or after holding the offside? He's going to try and sit on him and stop him from joining back into play.
You're very sure about what happened last night. If you look at it objectively, there weren't any incorrect decisions by the referee.
Yeah, that's not an objective statement because Mark Clattenburg said that was wrong.
Oh, and who's Mark?
We're not going to start listening to Mark Clattenburg, are we?
Yeah, I'm taking the professional's advice.
Right, Mark Clattenburg was a professional piece of garbage as a referee.
I know, we'll be here all night anyway. So guys, listen, guys, have a good one.
Now that Clattenburg's been brought up, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, guys, just look, Neil isn't even here to say goodbye.
I don't know what happened.
I look forward to hearing from you at 10 o'clock on Monday night.
Definitely,
okay,
mate,
Andy.
definitely.
We'll still be having a debate about Mark Clattenburg on Monday night.
I know. I'll see you guys later, man. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Bye.